All right, today is the last day of this kind of 3 little mini finance charge on the credit cards. Shout out to Miss Wheeler because this was her favorite unit from last year. I used to teach with Miss Wheeler. Today you're learning to use the average daily balance method in order to calculate the new balance on a credit card. It's really going to help if you know the number of days and months. So whether you have a calendar, however you remember it, that's going to really help you today. Okay. So average daily balance is the finance charge is calculated on the amount owed at the end of each day. So we're going to be filling out kind of these tables and kind of see where these numbers come from. The big thing to remember is this. To get your average daily balance, you're going to be taking the sum of daily balances and dividing by the number of days. That's why it's important to remember the number of days in each month. So your finance charge is going to be that average daily balance times the monthly rate. You might want to make a note that it needs to be in decimal form. And then to get your new balance, you're going to be adding the previous balance plus the finance charge plus any new purchases minus the payments and credits. So this is going to be a day where I highly suggest before you finish the whole chart, kind of get checked along the way, because if you mess one number up, you're going to mess the whole chart up. Okay, so the first part, we're just going to calculate, it should say in questions 1 to 2, we're going to calculate the average daily balance. Now, there's a lot of information on these charts, so I'm going to kind of try to zone in and only talk about the stuff we really need. First, you can see your billing period. Typically, that's about a month. We're going to need the previous balance. We're going to need the monthly rate, but we need it as a decimal. And so to get that finance charge, it's our monthly rate times the average daily balance. And that will get you to, so if you need to see what I did 156 times 0.02. Hopefully you can read my writing. And that gets us to $3.12. So I would circle that number, because you have to pay your finance charge. Okay, and then you're making a payment of $60. So if you want to do that a different color, remember that comes out, so that's a negative because you are subtracting it. You haven't made any new purchases, so we're going to find our new balance. So what you do here is you take your previous balance, because you have to pay that. So it's $196. You have to pay your finance charge, and in this case we didn't have any new purchases. Typically you might, so you would have to add that in, and then you take away any purchases you have made, or I'm sorry, any payments you have made. So that gets you to $139.12. Okay, and you can see that a lot of times those bills have that minimum payment and they have a due date. Okay, so if we're looking at the last one, you can see our billing period again is a month. I would circle the previous balance because you're going to need that number. Okay, I would put my monthly rate in as 0.0175 times $277.21. So I'm just straight across multiplying. That gets us to a finance charge of $4.85. I would circle that because you need to pay it. We are making a payment this time of $123.49, so I would do something different with that. And then you are also making new purchases, so you're going to have to pay a little bit. So here we go. We have, it's going to be previous balance. So if you haven't caught on, that comes up a lot. So $322.49 plus our finance charge, because we have to pay that. And then we made some more purchases. Okay, and then you made a payment. Okay, and that gets you to, at the end of the month, we now owe $253.36. Okay, so that is the new balance. So you can see that you started at the previous balance of $322, but just by paying off, a little less than half of it, you kind of lowered your bill. Okay? So again, these are Miss Wheeler's favorite, where we kind of fill in this chart. I highly suggest before you move on and kind of start working through this, if you don't do it in pencil, to get checked each time. Okay? All right. So for the month of June, so you can see our billing periods are for the month of June. So there are 30 days in June, so I would maybe make a note each time. The previous balance was $75, so watch where that goes. That goes at the end of day balance because you haven't done anything yet, so it starts at $75. So then on June 16th, okay, watch where that goes. That starts something, so I would maybe make that as a start. Okay, so from 6/1 to 6/15, nothing was happening, so you just had that end of day balance. So then something started on June 16th. We made a payment, which makes our bill go down. So I would put a little minus sign. So we made a payment of $50. And then again on June 1st, so that's another start date. So you can see 6/21. Something happens again where we purchased, so that's going to add to our total of $21. And we're going to fill in the blanks, and we had a rate of 1.5%. Okay, so I kind of work left to right. So the end goal with this is to have a blank chart and be able to fill it in. So you have your end of day balance. We're going to subtract 50, okay, because during the second billing period we made a payment of $50. So 75 minus 50 is 25, but then we bought something for $21, so that gets us to 46. Okay, you're going to want to box that number. We're going to use it at the end. So then we're finding an average, so what we do is to get the sum of the balances, we do 75 times 15, because for 15 days our end of day balance was 75. Then you're going to do 25 times 5, which gets you to 125. And then you do 46 times 10, which gets you to 460. Okay? A good self-check is that these numbers should total up to the amount in June. And 5 plus 15 plus 10 gets you to 30, so you're good to go. And then here you total down, so you need to make a note that, hey, you did plus, and now for my balances, I'm going to add them again. Okay, and you should get 1,710. Okay, so we did all that work to calculate the average daily balance. So we got the sum, so you're going to take 1710 divided by 30. That gets you to 57. Okay, so now what you really have to do is calculate the finance charge. And now remember, the finance charge is the average daily balance, which is 57, times the rate. And they gave us that rate of 1.5, which is 0.015, which gets you to 86 cents. So I would circle that number. So what you end up paying are these last two circled numbers. At the end of the day or end of the month, we were at $46. And then they charged us on our average daily balance a finance charge of 86 cents, which means we now owe $46.86. So this is rather, I think, complicated. If you're good with numbers and you like to kind of work through charts, this might not be too bad, but again, I will be around to kind of check and make sure we're on the right track. Okay? Alright, so the last one we're going to do is in October. So you can see that in the billing period, you always typically start in the first of the month. Okay, so we are in October. There's 31 days in October. So when we add the number of days, we should get 31. Okay? The previous balance was $255, so you can see that $255 starts right there. Okay? And then October 9th is a start date, which means it goes right there. So in the billing period, you have to do 10/1 to 10/8. Okay? A purchase, which means it's adding to our total, was made. $45. So what I would do is $255 plus 45 now gets you to $300. Okay? Now on October 20th, so another start date, so that means that's the 20th, and the one up here is to the 19th. A payment, which means you're subtracting from your total, was made. So 300 minus 125 gets you to 175. Okay, I would star that number because you're eventually going to have to add that to something. Okay, so then the number of days from 10/1 to 10/8, that's 8 days. If you need to count on your hands, whatever you need to do, or you could do the trick 8 minus 1 plus 1. So 8 minus 1 is 7, add an extra day is 8. So then from 10/9 to 10/19 would be 19 minus 9 plus 1. So that would be 11 days. And then from the 20th to the 31st would be 31 minus 20 plus 1. That is 12 days. Okay? So those numbers should be adding up to 31. Then you work across. 255 times 8 is 2,040. 300 times 11 is 3,300. And 175 times 12 is 2,100. Okay, so remember you add down. So that total is 7,440. So now we're going to come calculate that average daily balance. So we take 7,440 divided by 31 and we get 240. So that's just the number we're going to use the finance charge on. So 240, I believe they said our rate was 2%, which means we multiply by 0.02 and we get $4.80 worth of fees we're going to have to pay. So those 4.8 and 175 are the two most important numbers on here because those are the ones you have to pay. Okay? So that gets you to a total of $179.80. Hopefully I didn't make too many mistakes, but a lot of you catch them as we go on. So again, I believe this is kind of more of the tedious, harder calculations, so I'll be around to help on your classwork, but I will be helping those who have actually done the notes. Okay? So there is a classwork on this, Unit 7, Day 4, and you do have a quiz next class.